Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into some source material that makes, well, one of the boldest claims we've probably ever encountered here.
Yeah, it's pretty out there.
It argues that success, specifically getting rich, can be boiled down to an exact science. We're looking at a manual presented as purely practical, not philosophy, not theory, but a guidebook.
And that's really the core premise you, the listener, kind of have to accept right out of the gate. On faith, essentially.
Okay.
The source insists that getting rich isn't about your environment or, some innate talent or even luck. It says it's governed by laws. Laws as certain as algebra or arithmetic.
Wow.
And if you follow these laws, you do things in this certain way, the claim is failure is literally impossible.
Okay, wait, I have to jump in there. Failure is impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a huge guarantee. It almost sounds like, well, frankly, a bit like snake oil, doesn't it?
It does sound extreme.
Are we really saying things like, I don't know, massive recession or being born into really difficult circumstances? Those just don't matter if you follow the formula.
The manual is incredibly insistent on that exact point. It says this certain way, this process, it just transcends all those traditional factors completely. So our mission today really is to unpack the pretty rigorous and often counterintuitive mental and physical steps this thing demands. We need to look at the mindset shift and the very specific actions it requires.
All right, let's try and unpack this exact science then. Where do we even start? Because it sounds like before we even talk about doing anything, there's this huge philosophical foundation we need to get our heads around.
Yeah, you absolutely have to start there. It begins with this foundational belief. And again, it's presented as something you must accept. It's the monistic theory of the universe.
Monistic theory, okay.
Simply put, the source says there's one single, original, thinking, formless substance. And everything, absolutely everything, is made from this one substance.
Like a universal clay.
Well,
Like the raw intelligence of the cosmos itself.
exactly like that. Think of it as intelligent potential. And everything you see, the trees, cars, buildings, us, it's all just different expressions of this one thinking stuff.
Right, so it's all connected because it originates from the same source.
Precisely. And the crucial part is this substance is alive. It's intelligent, and it's always moving toward more life, towards greater expression. And because it's thinking substance,
Then thought must be the creative force.
that's the key. Thought is the power that shapes this substance.
Okay, so that changes the whole game for an individual, right? If the universe is this one thinking substance and we are thinking beings within it, does that mean we can impress our thoughts onto it?
That's the proposed mechanism, yeah. When you as an individual hold a thought, a really clear, definite mental image, and you impress it onto this formless substance, it supposedly kicks creative forces into gear.
To actually produce the physical form of that thought.
That's the idea. If you want a specific business, a specific house, whatever it is, you have to form that clear picture and sort of imprint it onto this universal mind stuff.
But I'm guessing this isn't just, daydreaming or passive visualization. Sound like it takes real effort.
Oh, absolutely. It calls for a clear and definite mental picture. And you have to hold it constantly, not just sometimes, constantly.
Wow.
And it needs to be backed by two other things. A fixed purpose to get what you want, and an unwavering faith. Not just hope, but faith that the things you want aren't just coming eventually, but are actually already yours, right now, at hand.
Mentally living in them already.
You have to mentally take ownership?
Yeah.
Yes. Live in the new house mentally before it arrives physically.
Okay, that's a huge ask. Especially when, reality is constantly throwing conflicting evidence at you. Like, if I'm staring at an empty bank account, how on earth am I supposed to maintain the mental attitude of ownership for, say, $1 million?
And that's exactly why the source calls this mental work the hardest labor anyone can perform. It's a constant battle to reject appearances.
Reject appearances.
You have to actively refuse to let your mind fill up with images of lack or poverty or sickness. Because dwelling on those appearances, the negative stuff, will impress those forms onto the substance, and that directly blocks the creative process for wealth. You're literally fighting your own senses, your own environment sometimes.
Which brings us to something the manual calls the fatal hindrance. And this seems deeply counterintuitive, especially in our kind of capitalist world. Competitive thought.
Yes, and this is apparently where many people fail. You have to rise completely, utterly out of the competitive mindset.
Why? I mean, isn't business about competition?
From this viewpoint, no. Because as long as you believe wealth is scarce, that there's only so much to go around, that banks are hoarding it, or that you have to fight someone else to get your piece.
You drop into the competitive mind.
Exactly. And the moment you do that, your connection to that infinite, formless substance, it's severed, temporarily at least.
And your power to create just vanishes.
Your power to cause creation is lost. You have to know, really know, deep down, that the supply is limitless, that you'll get what you desire in a way that actually helps everyone else involved get more too.
So it's a total shift. From competing for what's already there to creating what you want from this formless potential.
That's the core mental shift required. It's huge.
Okay, so let's assume someone manages that. They accept the monistic idea, they hold the vision, they've somehow managed to eradicate competitive thought, which seems like a lifetime's work in itself. How do they maintain that connection, that harmonious contact with the source? The manual brings up something called gratitude.
Right. Gratitude is presented as the absolute key to the relationship side of things. It's the single word that sums up the mental adjustment needed for atonement or harmony with this formless intelligence. It's like the bridge.
And what's really interesting here, the sources don't treat gratitude like, a nice feeling or a moral duty. They treat it like a law of physics, cause and effect.
Pretty much, yeah. It's described as a natural principle, an action-reaction mechanism.
Okay, break that down. The action is?
The action is the grateful reaching out of your mind. Sincere, thankful praise. This genuine thanksgiving is seen as a liberation of force, something real that actually reaches the formless intelligence.
And the reaction is the universe responding.
Instantly. The reaction is described as an instantaneous, continuous movement of the things you desire towards you. If your gratitude is strong and constant, the reaction, the movement of good things towards you, will also be strong and continuous.
Like drawing near to it causes it to draw near to you.
Exactly. The source actually quotes that psychological truth. Draw nigh unto God, and he will draw nigh unto you.
I get being grateful for what you actually have. That makes sense. But the manual insists you need to be grateful for things you only possess in your imagination.
It sounds a bit like self-deception. How is that genuine faith?
But that's the crucial link they make. The source states explicitly, faith is born of gratitude.
The grateful mind is always focused on the good that's coming, on the best possibilities. It constantly expects good things. And that constant expectation, especially when you hold it even when reality looks different, that is what becomes faith. Invincible faith.
So being able to genuinely thank the source for things you only hold mentally, that's the proof of real faith.
That's how it's presented. It demonstrates you truly believe it's on the way, or even already here in potential. And that faith is what supposedly accelerates the actual manifestation.
And gratitude also serves as the antidote to that competitive, dissatisfied thinking we talked about earlier.
Precisely. If you're not grateful, your mind naturally defaults to dwelling on what's wrong, right? The common, the poor, the mediocre aspects of your current reality. And if you keep transmitting those negative, dissatisfied thought forms to the substance, well, you just attract more of the same. Gratitude forces your focus onto the best, onto the abundance, and stops you from making the error of thinking the supply is limited.
Now, speaking of instructions that might be hard to swallow, the source gets very specific about the scope of gratitude. It says you need to be grateful for all things that have contributed to your advancement, including trusts, big corporations, even politicians. How do we possibly square that circle?
Yeah, that's a tough pill for a lot of people, but the manual offers a very pragmatic reason.
Okay.
It views these entities, even if they seem detrimental on the surface, as just part of the system, instruments. Or the text calls them transmission lines for wealth.
Definition lines, okay.
So by being grateful for their role in the overall structure, regardless of how you feel about them ethically, you bring yourself into harmonious, creative alignment with everything. You're clearing the path. You're neutralizing any resistance you might create by judging those appearances or fighting them mentally.
Oh, that is a complete mental reframing. Okay, so we have the mindset, the gratitude. Let's move to the third pillar. This is where, according to the manual, a lot of people who try this stuff meet shipwreck, as it puts it. The failure to connect thought with actual personal action.
Yes, this is critical. The manual hammers this point. Thought alone is not enough. Thinking brings the desired thing to you, metaphysically speaking, but it's action that allows you to actually receive it when it arrives.
So if you spend all day visualizing your dream restaurant,
but you never actually buy a single ingredient or talk to a supplier or look at locations.
The creation basically piles up at your door, but you never open it to let it in.
Exactly. You have to act to receive.
So what does this efficient action look like? Does it mean you have to suddenly rush out and, I don't know, start a giant corporation tomorrow?
No, definitely not. In fact, the source specifically warns against haste. Hurrying apparently makes you drop back into that competitive mindset.
Right, because haste implies fear or lack.
Precisely. Efficient action has to be done without haste, without worry, without fear. And crucially, you must act now, right now, on the people and things in your present environment.
Not waiting for things to change first.
No. It's considered totally inefficient to postpone action while you wait to move, or wait for a better job, or wait for conditions to be perfect. You have to use the ground you're standing on right now.
You can't act big later if you aren't doing the necessary work, however small, where you are right now.
That's the idea. And the key isn't how many things you do, the sheer quantity of action. It's the efficiency of each separate action.
Okay, let's unpack efficiency then. If I'm, say, an accountant, being efficient doesn't just mean churning through 10 tax returns faster, does it?
No, it's about the quality and intention behind the action. Efficient action means making every single act, no matter how mundane, strong, and effective, by holding that clear vision, that unwavering faith, and that fixed purpose while you are performing the act.
So the accountant fills out the form, but does it with the mental backdrop of their future, much larger success.
Yes, you infuse the small, present task with the power of the large future vision. It gives the action a different quality, a different energetic impact that goes beyond just the physical motions.
And this action also has a very strict ethical component related to exchange, right? You must always give more than you receive.
This is fundamental to staying on the creative plane, not slipping into competition. In every transaction, every single one, you must give the other person more in use value than the cash value you get back.
Use value, meaning the benefit they receive.
Exactly. The exchange has to genuinely make for more life for the other person. If you sell a loaf of bread for $1, the source says the buyer must feel they received more than $1's worth of nourishment, quality, satisfaction, whatever it is.
So by consistently providing more benefit than the price tag suggests, I reinforce my role as a creator, someone adding to the world, not just taking a cut.
You got it. You solidify yourself as a creator, not a competitor. And that ethical stance, that more life principle, prepares the way for more wealth to flow to you.
Okay, and there's one final piece to this action phase, something about an impression.
Yes, conveying the impression of increase.
Like a silent advertisement for your own success.
It's maybe more fundamental than that. It's about embodying the principle. Let every action, every tone of voice, even your look, express this quiet confidence. The assurance that you are getting rich, and more importantly, that you are conferring benefits and increase onto them through your interaction.
And the idea is that people are naturally drawn to sources of increase.
Like moths to a flame, the source suggests. It attracts people, opportunities, everything you need, right to you.
This obviously raises a big question, which the material actually addresses directly. What about the average wage earner? Someone who feels stuck in a job, maybe with a difficult boss, limited options. Can this certain way actually work for them?
The source is absolutely unwavering on this. It says a worker isn't held down by their job or by trusts or capital or anything external. If that worker truly acts in a certain way.
Meaning holds the creative vision, acts efficiently and with purpose in their current job, gives more use value than they're paid for, conveys that impression of increase.
Then a power which never fails will present opportunities. It's guaranteed, according to the text. The current job just becomes the means to get a better one. Maybe it's promotion, maybe it's the chance to start a side business, maybe it's finding the money for that small farm they visualized. The opportunity will come.
Okay, so let's try and bring this all together. Synthesizing these three big parts, what's the final picture?
Well, it paints a picture of a really radical and demanding, frankly, science of getting rich. It rests on these three essential pillars. First, you've got to accept that monistic substance idea and maintain a strictly creative, non-competitive mindset. That's foundational.
Right.
Second, the continuous and really quite difficult practice of gratitude and unwavering faith. Holding on to a vision that only exists mentally and being thankful for it. And third, efficient daily action.
Yeah.
Right now, right where you are, in your present environment, always focused on giving more use value in every single exchange.
And if you manage all that, if you follow these very precise laws, the promise is?
The promise is that the wealth you receive will be in exact proportion to four things. The definiteness of your vision, the fixity of your purpose, the steadiness of your faith, and the depth of your gratitude. It really is laid out like an equation, an economic or maybe metaphysical equation.
That's the final thesis, then.
That's the core argument. And if you connect it to the bigger picture, the source material basically argues that the reason you even desire riches in the first place,
Hmm.
it's fundamental. It's the capacity for larger life-seeking fulfillment. The universe, this formless substance, actually wants you to have everything you need to express yourself fully.
So the ultimate goal isn't just accumulating stuff, or even just intellectual pursuits.
No. The ultimate aim, the reason this is called the noblest and most necessary of all studies in the text, is the complete expression of all your potential, body, mind, and soul. Riches are simply presented as the necessary tool, the means required for that full, unhindered expression.
Wow. Well, it's certainly a fascinatingly demanding, very pragmatic, yet incredibly aspirational set of ideas. Thank you for walking us through this pretty challenging source material today.
It was a pleasure. Lots to think about there.